Sup, sup. How's everybody doing today? Let's start here. It's okay. Like my notifications, like I micromanage all my notifications, and so sometimes I get things all mixed up. So I totally feel that because sometimes I miss people because of that. Professor Pond. There's obviously, James Bond, but there was actually a game on Super Nintendo with like a frog that played a secret agent, and he was double O, I think it was 007, probably not, but his name was James Pond, and so he would say Pond, James Pond, ribbit. Let's see. Looks like we also have Legion of Comics in the house. I don't know if you're cutting dog's hair, but maybe glance at the screen. I'm trying to represent you while you're not here. So, but I'm sure you're listening. I know Steve was supposed to stop in. He's on his way home. Mr. Ruben Guzman himself. Always early, too. Always early. Always looking for him. So, yeah. What's today? Good Friday. It is Good Friday. Man, it's been kind of a weird day. I had my kids and my wife were at home because it's a holiday and stuff. So it kind of like threw off my whole schedule. I had plans to take care of some work and hit some deadlines. And so I was like an hour late on my deadlines because also our landlord, like we live like inside this like fenced in grouping of like 4 houses. They're all managed by the same people. And so the guy like manages the lawn and stuff himself. And so our neighbors, they had a trampoline, and back in October, this wind like picked it up and chunked it across the yard, busted out one of our neighbors' windows and stuff. It was like this whole deal. And I was out there at the time. Like I went outside to check on it, and I told them it was like 2 guys that it's their trampoline, and they're like big weightlifter guys. They run a gym or something. So I was out there with them at the time, and I was like, hey, let's I'll help y'all take care of this right here, right now. It'll be done. It'll be awesome, Well, they didn't. And so it's just been sitting there since October. And the landlord, the guy that does the lawn, he just had knee replacement surgery, like at the beginning of March. So he can't really do much now, but he has like one of those big orange riding lawnmowers, ZTRs. And so he can like pretty much come out and do that. Well, since they haven't moved this trampoline, like I couldn't let that guy do that on his own. So he came to mow the yard this morning and stuff. And I just had to suck it up on my own time and go out there. And like I picked up this whole trampoline and took it out to the ditch and everything. But I'm really frustrated with our neighbors. It irks me that they let it sit there. I was there that day. We were good to go. Like the 3 of us could have had that thing out by the trash like in minutes. They were like, no, we'll do it later. And so now I had to waste like Good Friday morning doing that instead of things that I would have preferred to do. So it looks like people are pouring in. That's kind of my story time for the day. Dale of Suspense. I saw Tyler in here. Ruben says he's listening with his headphones. Tyler's in here. Mr. Shattered Glass himself. Nick. I've seen Nick's name everywhere, right? Like he's recently hit my radar and stuff. And it wasn't until last night when they were talking about the sneakers that I was like, oh, yeah, that's what the kicks part means. So, yeah, I'm as dumb as anybody else, of course. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Nice shirt. What up, everyone? What does he say here? Got my first ever... Yeah, I started to watch that one, but I had to pause it to take a lunch break. So, my former subscriber. Yeah, that would be very accurate, Mr. DJ. It wasn't a terrible Friday, or it hasn't been a terrible Friday yet. But yeah, they kind of ruined my Good Friday morning. Yeah, kicks. Makes sense now. I'm not a sneakerhead either. I hate to like call myself not a collector of things because I have a lot of hobbies that are technically collecting, like I was just thinking like my Pokemon cards, my Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff. Like I've been into those forever. Magic the Gathering, love that stuff. A majority of those cards I don't even use though. Like a deck is like 60 cards, maybe 80 tops. So a majority of the cards I own, they're just sitting there. So technically, I'm collecting them, right? I read my comics, and there's a lot of comics I read, reread frequently. But a majority of my comics spend most of their time just sitting there in a box in a bag and board. So while I am a collector, I don't remember where I started this from, but while I am a collector, I always hate that term because I feel like that's for people like Nick that collects all those shoes and stuff. Like, and it's interesting. Like, I don't really get the sneaker thing. Like fashion. I mean, clearly, I'm not. Sorry, sorry, Mark. I didn't mean it like that. But I mean, if you've ever paid attention, I'm not like very fashion friendly. Like DJ Lynx, he's like blinding everybody on camera. Like that's not me. Do I have? I am a fan of watches though, but like I don't really care about expensive ones. Like I get all these like crappy, cheap knockoff, nice looking ones. You know, like I don't think any of the things except for maybe the minute and hour hands tick, but it looks fancy, you know, and especially when I was doing insurance and stuff. And I had to wear a polo every day and dress real professional. Like I wore a watch daily. I did the little like Sealy Booth. I do like the Sealy Booth from Bones. I have like Rick and Morty socks and stuff, so I would wear those to work to kind of feel a little rebellious. You shouldn't be, DJ Links. Like I'm very, I admire it a lot. I think it's awesome that that watch blings. Like I said, I admire the look of a watch. I've never really had an expensive watch by any means, though. I also have a friend like I'm not picking on Nick either, because like I have a friend that is like hardcore into actually, yeah, that was my first thought. I was like, does it have something to do with the cereal? Anyway, yeah, like one of my best friends, like he's a real big sneakerhead, and this dude has like every shoe that's like ever come out in a box in his closet. Like it's just stacked, like the way people have those walls of Funko Pops. He has like Nike and Jordan boxes and all that stuff just like for days. And he tells me all the time, he's like, I have not wore any of these shoes. Like, you know, he can point out maybe 3 or 4 pairs that he's actually worn. Everything else is just there because he bought it because he collects sneakers, you know, and that's cool. Like that's a thing. People collect stuff. I'm not tripping on it. I just think it's interesting because like there's some things I can kind of relate to, you know, like a lot of the comics and stuff, but like fashion and shoes, like it's really hard for me to relate to collecting those kinds of things. Though, like I said, I do collect cheap, nice looking watches. So I guess I do have a little bit of a fashion hair in me, but it's not really a thing I do a lot of. And so it's a little harder for me to relate to. Or like my mom, she collects like salt and pepper shakers. I do not get it. I don't. I cannot understand it for the life of me. I just know it's convenient because any like birthday or Christmas I can find her a salt and pepper shaker and I kind of win. How am I bullying anybody on this live stream? I'm mostly telling you like how I can't relate to y'all because y'all are into really cool things and I'm into nerdy, socially shunned things. Cool. So, well, there's like 5, 6 people in here. Okay, maybe you did nail my tone. I did not. It's probably the Modelo. Having me a nice afternoon Modelo. Yeah, so anyways, I guess while there's 6 people in here, if you haven't seen, I have a video up on my channel. It's a 200 subscriber giveaway. So while I'm sitting at like 161 right now, I am excited to start moving toward 200. And so I have one package out there. It's 10 comics. It's in this video. It tells you how to subscribe or how to enter the drawing and everything like that. And then once I hit 180 subs, I will reveal another 10 books that I'll be giving away. And then once I actually hit 200, then boom, I'm going to do a drawing and pick 2 winners, 10 books each. So, and the way I kind of set up the packages is it's stuff that does, I mean, in my mind, at least, as like not I'm not really a flipper. So I don't know, like, I don't really grade books. I don't mess with that. So I can't tell you what they're worth and everything. I don't know what the spec market looks like, but these are books that I see a lot of potential for. So I explain it a little bit better in the video. So check that out. Jamaro, man, I know I've seen you recently-ish. There are no sneakers in that 200 sub giveaway. You know what I would give away? Chanclas. Can I be a chancla collector? I'd be pretty good at that, I think. My wife is like Hawkeye with them, catching the back of the head while you ain't even thinking. Station. Okay, man. Well, comics this week. I want to kind of talk a little like spoiler free on comics that I've read this week. I meant to read Giga, but I have not got around to it yet. But Nuclear Family #2, that one I enjoyed. I also heard Stephanie Phillips on a podcast this morning, and check this out. Stephanie Phillips, Giga. Stephanie Phillips is a doctor. She has a psychology degree, I think. But yeah, she is Dr. Stephanie Phillips. The other cool thing is she is a MMA fighter. So she actually fights on the regular in an octagon. So Station Travis, Station New Guy. I'm giving away some sneakers for my 600 giveaway. What's up, Cade? I just watched your video. You are not giving away any sneakers, but there are 4 really cool books. So definitely go check out the. I think it was a live stream. So go check out the replay on that. We got Comic Cade in here, the biggest Cade in comics, the biggest kid in comics. He does some great videos. Check him out. We got it's probably Cole. I'm pretty sure it's Cole. I know it's Cole. But Comic Burrito, they do some great stuff. Their Saturday night streams, that is like a gold mine of just greatness. So go check that one. Watch them on Saturday nights. Does it say I'm Master Steve Berkland? How was work today, Steve? Kind of weird that we are a legion of burritos. It's so weird to me that a teacher's working on a Good Friday. Not that I have any reverence for the holiday itself, but I mean, I feel like teachers and schools are always closed. Sneakers and clothes were my jam before collecting. Yeah, see, that's my friend. That's exactly how my friend is with all the sneakers, like sneakers, clothes, fashion. He gets a haircut and a beard cleanup every Friday at same time, like same barber. Like, dude always looks fresh. He always looks exactly the same. He's not like me that goes like a month or 2 without cutting any hair, and then I shave it all down for a month, and it gets all crazy. Yeah, so Stephanie Phillips, Nuclear Family, jorts. Oh yeah, Nuclear Family #2. So I really dig the writing. Like, I think Stephanie Phillips is great. I've really enjoyed Nuclear Family, and you know, my one complaint about Nuclear Family so far, the one thing that keeps it at a welcome to my unique rating system, I find that we get too caught up in the weeds of like where something is on a 5 or 10 point scale. So I've kind of went to the system. I give them 3 stars, right? 1 star means like not good, don't bother with it. 2 means that I think pretty much anybody could at least enjoy and not regret the purchase of the book. And 3 means like it's a must read. So that's how I handle it. 3 stars is what I'm doing. What? I do not hate the Burke family. Why would I subscribe to your Burke family in general if I hated it? Then again, I'm accused of making Batman stuff because I hate Batman. So. Anyway, yeah, Nuclear Family, my one complaint about it that keeps it at 2 stars for me is the artwork. Like, it's not bad. It's perfectly fine artwork, but it's also extremely like flat and generic. And like I don't even know who the artist is on it. Tori something. Like there's nothing that stands out about the artwork, and I'm not complaining. Like, that's not perfectly fine. Like, I think it's great that there's books out there that, you know, and people out there that are doing like this kind of house art style. But yeah, that's the one thing that keeps it at 2 stars for me instead of 3. Like, I think Stephanie Phillips is doing an amazing job of writing it, and there's like a really cool twist at every issue so far, and I really like the world that it's setting up. So that is what's keeping me around, is the writing. But the artwork is like just not bad and not good. Like, if there was something really cool about the artwork, this would be a 3-star book that I would be ranting and raving about all day. Sleeves in April. Well, if you had been here at the beginning, you would like totally think that I'm gonna assume that he's talking about what I'm talking about with the artwork. So yes, we agree, Cole. 1 star for wearing sleeves in April. Yeah, I should have ripped my sleeves off while I was working outside earlier. I mean, I guess Mark couldn't complain either because I did buy it. So, you know, it's it's mine. I Breathe the Body. Oh, and let me point out too, like Nuclear Family and I Breathe the Body are both Aftershock books. And I don't know that like people are paying attention to Aftershock, but they're kind of doing great things. Like the last 18 months or so, like they've really been, they started doing their graphic design. Like all of their books have the same kind of like title pages and stuff now. And whenever they started doing that, like the quality of their books has just really been hitting for me. And honestly, like they feel like where Boom was maybe like 2 years ago, when it was like you know, like 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, like Boom was like really starting to like get some traction and move. And it feels like that's where Aftershock is at this point. And so their books have become like number ones. I usually check them out unless it just really seems like something I don't want to read. So I Breathe the Body. This is number 3. I don't know if anybody's been reading this one. I really like Zach Thompson. I read his newsletter as well, and I really like the way that he thinks about like psychology and like the way that he thinks about the audience as they're reading the book. He talks a lot about that in his newsletter. He talks a lot in his newsletter about how he wants to you know, how you can kind of like unsettle the reader so that they're kind of on edge and stuff like that. And I mean, it's a little inside baseball, but I really like the way that he does that with I Breathe the Body, because he creates this world that seems pretty normal, but the farther you get into it, the more that this like one element of this world is very unsettling. And the more you learn about like how that one thing is having an effect on the entire world that you're in, like the more it starts to concern you. And so like you're kind of just like drawn to it because you want to resolve this unsettled feeling you have about it. And I Breathe the Body is so crazy. Like this third one, you watch, I think it's like 2 pages of panels that show like dogs ripping this. Yes, there you go, body horror. Yeah, and like in this one, you spend like 2 whole pages watching these dogs like rip a human head apart. Like it's crazy. And this human head came from somebody who killed themselves live on a live stream, you know. And the story from there is pretty much like the people that run this social network are trying to like they're kind of trying to spin everything. So in this third issue, this is where they're really like getting deep into how social media can spin things, and I really enjoyed it. I think probably the second issue is my favorite one so far, but I would say number 3 is probably my second favorite. Number 1 was cool, but I saw a lot of the pages in Zach Thompson's newsletter. So whenever I actually got that issue, it kind of felt like I was rereading it more so than actually reading it. So that could be part of it. But like issue 2 was awesome. Issue 3 like really just takes it farther into that craziness. So I've enjoyed I Breathe the Body. And if you're into like horror or body horror, then I would suggest it. Oh, thanks. Yeah, nice bed, huh? Talk about, you know what? Let me talk about Power Rangers, because if you weren't bored, you're about to get bored. The Power Rangers Unlimited Heir to Darkness. We meant to talk it last night, but I don't think we really got to it. Honestly, this book is kind of like, it slightly misses on every level for me. Like the writing, it gets too lost in its own world and doesn't really establish like what it's actually going for. There's a point where like I don't know, it feels like they're really just like beating the character down over and over again. No matter what she does, she's always wrong. So that's kind of weird. The dialogue keeps repeating these same phrases that I think it's supposed to be sort of like a catchphrase or maybe something that they're reiterating so that you'll really enjoy it. But the problem is like the catchphrases are not catchy, you know. Think like almost like meme culture, you know, like you got say like Smokey and Friday, you know, damn, like that goes up everywhere, and he could say that over and over again. It would always be funny. But in this, they keep trying to repeat the same thing, and it's just like not really catchy things that are gonna stick around. Yes, yes, they are. And then, okay, so Power Rangers Unlimited, Heir to Darkness, it's about Astronema, who is like a very tortured character, and she's incredibly interesting for the little bit we know about her from the actual show. And so here they're supposed to be giving her an origin story. And she's basically raised as like a child assassin, and she's got like these crazy skills, and she's having to do things almost like Russian sleeper agent style, you know, like things that she doesn't want to do. So she's a very tortured soul. The whole book is colored in Easter egg pastel colors. Like it does not jive with the tone at all. Like the story you're supposed to be trying to tell here is how this little girl like loses everything and has to be an assassin. But you know, but instead they give you like all these like crazy pastel colors and stuff. It's like, why is the world so bright? This is a dark story, and there's like some messed up stuff in there, you know. We also know like the bad guys that are raising her and training her to be assassin, they don't like her. Like this is very obvious in the book. We don't know why. Like it's almost like they were trying to do like the Thanos thing where like he's kind of crappy to Gamora and the other one. I can't think of her name right now. Anyway, like it's like they're trying to do that. Like he found her and saved her from this terrible thing, but he's also kind of crappy to her, except for there's no chemistry. Like it doesn't work. I don't understand what they're going for. So overall, like I said, like I see kind of like the ideas that were in this book, but everything just misses. You know, every element of it comes in at like a 6, and nothing actually quite makes a 7. So overall, the grade just isn't that strong for me, and it was kind of boring. I tried to read it twice, I couldn't even finish it the second time. Crossover we talked about a little bit last night. I thought it was really cool. Kind of a quick read. I thought that one panel, whenever oh my god, like I almost teared up over that because I mean we've talked quite a bit about what? It was certified new. Let's see. I like the light tones in a really dark book. Yeah, but it wasn't a good balance. Like it didn't work. I totally see what you mean there. Like, you know, like Flash. The Flash is always pretty like bright and has a lot of levity to it. So when they get into dark stories, it actually works really well to have like more light colors and more sunlight. Kind of Superman 2 gets into some dark stuff, but Metropolis is always brightly lit. This just did not work. Like it looked like somebody was thinking about Easter a month or two early when they were coloring it or something, because it literally looks like pastel egg colors. It's crazy. Yes, I did review Haha, even though I've only read the first one. Yeah, okay, so my only complaint on Crossover is that I didn't like that we saw Ellie. I'm assuming she got powers. Like, it definitely seems like they gave her powers, right? So we have this cosplayer that got powers. That's really cool. But they give her the sword, they give her Valofax, and then she sees all this stuff, and we assume she got powers, and then she gets rid of the sword. Like, one swing. Like, I mean, just one swing. Like, that's all I wanted out of that was I wanted to see her do, like, one thing with Valofax. He almost seems like a prop more than a sword, you know? Hasn't made a burrito out of comics yet. Yeah. Yes, that needs to be seen. There we go. But overall, Crossover 5 was really good. There was that one panel that's basically the end of God Country, and I didn't cry, but it almost makes me tear up because I remember because of Steve. Steve made me read that book, but it hits on just about anything and everything I could ever want a story to read. Like all these things. Like I've lost two grandparents that had Alzheimer's. One of them, he had it for like 5 or 6 years before he passed away. And for like the last years of his life, I had the same conversation with him every single time I saw him. And that conversation was always about things that were going on 10 years prior, right? So he didn't know what time he was in. And we had the same conversation because he didn't really remember it. And my daughter's 3, so I'm pretty fresh on that side. And so whenever you have like this grandfather losing his memory and the daughter trying to connect through generations, like every element of this book just like completely hit me. So that one panel that was pretty much the end of God Country and Crossover 5, whenever she says like, the story, so the sword was never the point, like that just brought back so many memories of reading God Country. And so thanks, Steve. Thank you so much for recommending that book. I think I had heard the name a few times, but it wasn't until Steve really pushed me to read it that I read it. And easily one of my favorite reads of all time. Yeah, I really enjoyed Crossover 4 as well. I feel like a lot of people gave it hate, but I didn't even read it until 5 came out. So I read 4 and 5 like back to back, and I thought they were both great. I don't know how other people felt because it seemed like number 4 people were down on. Yeah, it was so good. I made a worm out of comics, which could have been a burrito. Let's see. I need to read God Country. Yeah, God Country is a really good. Yes. This has been a topic lately too. Ugly criers on screen. Yeah, God Country is like, I don't know, it's so good. And like, I don't even think of it, honestly, like, I don't think of it as a Donny Cates book because that was an amazing experience. That transcended the actual author himself. Like, to me, all of his other work exists kind of like away from God Country because of how much that book really hit me. I'm smart. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, Crossover 5, I really liked it. I just wish we would have got to see Ellie do something with Valofax. I mean, Steve, you're a great guy. You fail to get the sleeves on your shirt sometimes, but other than that, you're a solid guy. You're a nice Midwestern boy. The Burke family are gods. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, so Beta Ray Bill. Okay, I've been really excited for Beta Ray Bill. I feel like this one was good. It was just like a lot of setup though. And so not that it wasn't good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It's just not really something that like has me so excited that I have to talk about it. But I think moving forward, it's going to turn into that. Much like Wonder Woman Dead Earth was a little more intense in the first issue. But still, it was like those last couple of issues where it really picks up. Murder Falcon's a pretty like middle of the road burn, and then it just gets insane the farther in you get. So it's kind of a Daniel Warren Johnson thing. Writing, storytelling in general, like you have to set everything up. So Beta Ray Bill was really good. Watching the way I hated to watch Beta Ray Bill just get like manhandled so bad, and then Thor kind of shows up and steals the show. Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah, so Beta Ray Bill was great. Thor like kind of showed up and like stole the show from him and stuff, which sucked to watch, but it also like was a perfect catalyst to propel him to go out into the world and kind of do his own thing and make his own legend and tell his own story. And so I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Knowing like he has the ship, Scuttlebutt, and he's going to be going like cosmic and everything else. Like, I'm really excited to see how much I don't know, like almost like I don't know, like very cosmic style stuff. Questions of like why does he exist and what does he bring to the table? What sets him apart from Thor? But what also makes him like a good member of Asgard and stuff like that. I'm excited to see what they can really like build Beta Ray Bill into on the backs of going out and doing some Daniel Warren Johnson like just like straight metal storytelling. Like it's gonna be so cool. I'm really excited for what it's going to become. This first issue was a great setup and a great first issue, though. I guess Department of Truth we talked a little bit about last night. I thought this was great. I really enjoyed it. I love the way that they kind of tried to explain why aluminum tinfoil has become such a symbol of insanity. It was really cool, just like the way they put it all together and the way they're kind of giving us a solid, concrete foundation for a world where everything's always shifting and changing. Like I feel like knowing where the Department of Truth started and where it all came from and how it kind of turned into what it is today is important to like having a center to really having a good center to really keep us grounded when everything around us is changing all the time. So Department of Truth was great. Mark, he's been like so busy. It's like the Masters tournament or something down there, and so Augusta, Georgia. It's pretty wild apparently, and so he's been kind of out of the game lately. But like I said, represent. Yeah, Beta Ray Bill was really good though. Like it's just like such a fundamentally solid first issue that Daniel Warren Johnson can take us literally anywhere now. So I'm really excited. Flash 768, I really enjoyed. I thought that like having Green Arrow there was really cool, but he also did like a really quick turn. But it was good that he was there because he did generate a conversation that needed to be had. And overall, I really enjoyed it. It was kind of weird because they've been advertising everything. Like I wasn't surprised that Barry and Wally were both in the beginning of this issue because see you, Cole. Like it wasn't weird to me that they were both there at first because they've been advertising that they're gonna basically retire Barry and let Wally take over for a while. And then it starts out and Wally's like talking about going into retirement. I was like, what is going on here? And then everything goes sideways, and then you have both Flashes in both issues. So I do wonder like how long they're both going to be there. Like were they being honest in intention when they were kind of I guess like promoting this book? Like is Barry really going to like go away in this first arc and Wally's going to take over, or was that whole thing a ruse and like it's just going to be both Wally and Barry all the way through this series? So I'll be interested to see what they do with that down the road. Overall, this issue was pretty fun though. A lot of fun stuff with Wally. Superman versus Imperious Lex #3. Oh my god, I really enjoyed this one. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed this whole series though, so I mean, kind of take that as it is. It's very political, and so if you're like not into politics or you're to the right of politics, then you're definitely not going to like this. But I do think it was a good message to give to the audience that was going to stick around after that first issue. A lot of lefties and stuff. I think it was a good message. It's very well delivered and kind of puts a bow on it all at the end there. And so overall, I really enjoyed that one. And I thought it was a great series. And then the last book that I can think of that I read this week is Batman Catwoman #4. And I really enjoyed this one. It is getting some negative. I don't want to say negative, but like a lot of people are already calling this their least favorite of the series. So their least favorite of the 4 so far. I don't know if I agree or disagree with that part yet. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I love the part where we kind of get the reveal of why the Penguin is involved and what all is going on there. And then I just really like the way that Tom King uses imagery, right? Like, I guess minor spoiler alert here, but you see a lot of pages where like Bruce or I guess Batman is standing like on these towers and stuff, And the camera, you're almost from like Selina's perspective. Like she'll be on the roof over here and she's looking up and Batman's like standing on this big tower thing. And like, it's just like a really cool way to use imagery. Like I really love the way the imagery is painted here. You get the Christmas song being played throughout the whole thing again. And you find out a little bit more, not a ton more, but you find out a little bit more about Selina and her daughter and their relationship to the I guess like the rest of Batman's rogues gallery. Um Man, I can't even agree with that. You got to at least throw something out there I can side with you on. Yeah, see, that's kind of what everybody's saying about it. I guess I don't disagree because I don't feel like we got a lot, but this one actually hooked me more and has me more like I think the first one I enjoyed. The second one I was like, oh my god, I have to read number three. Number three was good, but this one, the way it ends, like that final statement, just like I'm still thinking about it like 2 days later, you know. Because she uses a word and again, this is what I like about this book, and this is what makes me want to read more Tom King, is because there's a lot of poetry that goes into his dialogue in this book. Like there's a lot of words that are specifically chosen, you know. In that final statement, there is a word in there that has so many different meanings and like so many different like so many levels, you know, like an onion. And so that one word alone just like has me asking so many questions, and I'm really excited for it, and I'm sure Steve hates that response. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like number 2 and number 4 have really had me excited for the next issue more than any of the other ones. But they've all been great, and they just, oh my god, the way that they use imagery and dialogue is really good. Like I'm sorry, but without having read any other Tom King, I'm gonna have to say he's probably not as bad as I've heard. So we'll find out. I have DC UI, and there's a lot of books on my list I want to go back and read and stuff, but that should give me access to some other Tom King works. So I'll definitely, as I find more free time somewhere, I will definitely be going back to read some of those other ones. Ooh, onion or a parfait. Well, I love onions. They go great on just about everything to make it a better thing. But there's something to be said for a parfait too. Like you can eat a parfait on its own. You can't really eat an onion on its own. Um, so yeah, definitely layers, man. Like the Earth's crust. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Batcat. I loved it. I thought it was great, and I'm excited to read it again and again and again. So yeah, that's pretty much all the books I've read this week so far. Um, I should remind everybody I have a giveaway now. I've never had a giveaway before, so this is like a weird thing to be promoting. But yeah, I'm trying to give some books to people. So let your friends know, let your family know. I was gonna just like give the books away, but then you know internally I was like I should do something with this, and so I just went ahead and so basically there's 10 books that are going to be given away whenever I hit 200 subscribers. There will be 10 books that are given away at 180 subscribers. I will announce the other 10 books. So there will be, at 200, there will actually be 20 books going to 2 winners. So check out that video. It's channel update 1.5 on my channel. And I think it's also listed as like giveaway or whatever. So should be pretty obvious. That has all the instructions. Very simple, very straightforward. And then as we approach that 200, I'll of course announce a live stream where we'll do the giveaway live. And I don't know. I'll try to figure out more ways to make that even more fun once we actually get there. So hopefully I'll come up with something. Tom King wrote a Batman comic with a single word spoken, and then later had 5 straight dream sequence issues. Horrible. Okay, so like the 5 straight dream sequences things, like I totally get that. I'm not really into dream sequences. If you haven't heard me review any of Snyder's Justice League stuff, so I totally get that. But as far as like silent comics and stuff, like I completely disagree. One of my favorite up and coming creators, Rick Quinn, is a master of using minimalistic dialogue to great effect. So I hate when people tell me like it was a silent issue. It was bad because it was a silent issue, or I didn't like it because it didn't have words and stuff. Like that totally doesn't faze me because I actually find it depends on the writer how well they utilize the lack of dialogue and the silence. And somebody like Rick Quinn is a master of utilizing silence. His motto is, don't, what is it like? It's pretentious to think that, what is it like? It's pretentious to think that you can add, like you can improve on the silence, like you better really have something to say if you're going to say it, because silence is pretty perfect. So that's kind of how I look at it too. Like I actually like less dialogue. I like very poetic dialogue. I like effective dialogue. I do not like characters that just like are talking for no reason. I don't like it in real life, to be honest. Like it's a struggle when you have 4 kids and a wife, because good Lord, like it is so pretentious to think you can improve upon silence. And maybe that's what this live stream should have been called, because I have talked a lot about nothing. But yeah, I have a thing for poetic dialogue. I have a thing for like Tarantino. His dialogue is amazing. Like I don't even need the visuals. Just give me the words. It's totally worth it. So yeah, that's a live stream, I guess. 42 minutes, not too bad. I'm surprised I was able to stay that entertaining. So yeah, I have the giveaway going on my channel. My new comic book day video dropped yesterday. The channel update dropped today. I have this awesome interview that, like, I don't know. I always hate to say like my favorite interview that I've done, because I really truly enjoy every interaction I've had on those pretty much. But Dave Chisholm is probably one of my favorite ones that I've done, because one, I kind of like his energy. He's very squirrely, kind of like me. And I don't know, the way he thinks about creativity and stuff, like he was really insightful. I think it's because he's actually like an art teacher and a music teacher and stuff, that he's kind of had to hone those skills of like communicating ideas and concepts to people. But I really like the way that he kind of like explained and used examples, and his metaphors and stuff were really great. So that's definitely one of my favorite interviews I've done. Check it out. It's Dave Chisholm. That's on my channel. And then stay tuned, because I'm going to have a video dropping tomorrow and on Monday and on Tuesday. So there's a lot going on the channel. Stick around. Until next time, keep flipping.